this unit, we are going to do a lot of hands-on activities. They are called constructions. The materials you're going to need for these things include several sheets of paper. You are going to want to put several sheets of paper down, or your paper and your tools are going to slide around a lot. The next thing you are going to need is a straight edge. Straight edge can be anything, a ruler, edge of a book, a magnet, the edge of a 3x5 card, the edge of a calculator or an iPod. Whatever you have will work. And finally, you're going to need a compass. Compasses can be found almost anywhere. They range from under $1 to well over $20. Get something that you can afford. I personally have found some wonderful compasses at thrift stores for about $1, and they work great. Weight is something that you might want to think about. If your compass is too light, it will slip around too easily. Another thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is the tip down here. Plastic tips have a tendency not to dig into paper very well, so they slip around a little bit more, whereas metal tips can come to a finer point and they'll dig into the paper more and not slip around as much. So make sure you have all of the tools that you need to be successful in this unit, and then continue on. And now we're going to talk really quick about how to use the compass and drawing circles. Now, a lot of people will try to tell you to put the compass straight up and down. I find that actually rather difficult because it's hard to keep the weight on both points of the compass. I strongly suggest that you hold it at a slight angle and then try to keep most of your weight on the point of the compass that doesn't draw, and then allow the pencil to drag across and draw a light line. And don't be afraid to draw circles going from two different directions, because one direction is usually easier than the other, but you can't go clear around. If you try to go clear around, notice what has just happened up here, a spot right here. I fumbled with my compass. It came up off the paper because I tried to go around too far. Try drawing some circles from various different sizes. You are going to find something very important, and that is the smaller the circle, the harder it is to draw. I have a lot of people who, when they do these constructions, they're afraid to make big lines on their papers. Yeah, can you notice how long it's taken me to draw this one simple circle? Because smaller circles are harder to draw than larger circles. I encourage you to find what size circles work best for you by playing around a little bit. The final thing that we're going to be practicing before we get started is drawing arcs. An arc is a part of a circle, so they're the same as drawing a circle. The only difference is, instead of drawing the whole circle, you just draw part of a circle. Now, it's very important to realize that if we were to go around and draw a bunch of arcs without moving our compass or changing the size of the compass, that all of these arcs would be in the same circle. Now, we're going to draw arcs of various different sizes, and the fun thing about these things is they are going to intersect, and it's these intersections, for example, this intersection here and this intersection here, that we are going to use most frequently in these exercises. So go ahead and practice drawing circles and arcs, and then continue on with the lesson. And now we are going to actually do some constructions. We're going to start by constructing a congruent segment. The first step in constructing a congruent segment is going to be drawing a ray. Notice how big I made my ray. It's nice and long. You're going to want to make sure that these things are long enough to do what you need to do. Second step, we are going to take our compass and we are going to open it up so it has the same length as the segment we want to copy. So I am going to make sure that my compass is open to the same length as segment MA. Step 3, we are going to place our compass at the end point of the ray that we created, that I'm calling And on that ray, we are going to make a small arc that intersects it. And we can call that intersection point I. So we have just constructed segment Ri so that it is congruent to segment MA. Let's check and see how well we did. Checking segment MA, that happens to be 7 centimeters. Checking segment RI, that also is 7 centimeters. So we have just constructed a congruent segment. Segment MA is congruent to segment RI. And now it's time to work on congruent angles. The first step to drawing congruent angles is to draw a ray. I'm going to name the endpoint of this ray point E. Step 2 is to make an arc on our original angle. So I'm going to put the point of my compass on the vertex of the angle, and I am going to draw an arc that intersects both sides of the angle. I'm going to label these points of intersection S and R just for future references. Now, using the same setting of the compass, we need to make an arc extending from our ray. Notice how I've made that arc nice and big. Don't make a little short one. I'm going to name the intersection of the arc and the ray O, again for future reference. And now we can move on to step 3. We are going to measure the distance across our original angle. So we are going to go from point R to point S, and we are going to measure that same distance from point O. So from point O, I will draw an arc that intersects that original arc on the ray. And let's go ahead and name that point C. Now we will finish off our angle by drawing in ray EC. So now we should have constructed 2 congruent angles. Shall we check and see how well we've done? I'm going to place my protractor down here on the angle, making sure my vertex is at the correct point down here, making sure that one side is aligned with 0. I am going to measure this angle, and this angle is about 74 degrees. So coming over to this angle, again, placing my point at the vertex, making sure that one side is aligned perfectly with 0. I am now checking my angle, and once again, I am at 74 degrees. That is how you construct congruent angles.